I believe my mother, she never told me a lie. We are 1/4 Logan Scot, 1/4 Highland Scot, 1/4 Irish, and we're known as Irish, and we had to declare in Canada that we were Irish, because your father was Irish, he came from Ireland, and that we bragged that we had not a drop of English blood in our veins to all our English friends. Then I discovered my mother was a Quaker. And they all came out to Ontario, all their relatives, and I guess they had a slew of them. And they came out to Ontario to around London. Well, it was where the Donnellys were. My mother told me about the Donnelly boys. She was the one that told me in the first place, because Dad never mentioned it. He wouldn't mention it. It hurt too much. And my mother told me that these Donnelly boys liked a good time, like on Saturday night, and that they were like the Copperthorns and the Etches and those boys. And there wasn't a mean bone in their body. The true story of the Donnellys is that the English took the land away from the small holders in Ireland, and they did take the Donnellys' land. The ones that cooperated with the English could get to be managers of their own farms and live quite decently and peacefully. But you know, the Irish, bitter and vengeful, they did everything they could to chase him out. And he came to Canada thinking he was escaping all that, and they followed him. And Donnelly was squatting in a piece of land that belonged to the government, but they told him he could live on it. But one day they turned up there too. And they went to the house at night and murdered them, the Donnellys. And Dad was living in the village of Lucan, and he was in the crowd at the sidewalk. He and some other guys, they heard about this happening out that they torched the Donnelly house and everything, and he said that a buggy drew up, and they opened it, that one of these buggies that you close in and have a top, and Joanna, the wife's head rolled out of the cart and rolled out right to his feet. And they didn't want to stick around there very long. That's when they moved to Killarney in Manitoba. They thought if they went west, we could get away from this. Dad's family stayed in Killarney and he came west. And his mother thought he was a traitor for coming west. He got homesick every so often and had to go home to Mama. That's another thing the Irish are like, make a big thing about motherhood. And they had to live in a room in Grandma's house first. Grandma looked up and says, "What's she doing here?" About Mama, my poor mother, gentle soul, hundreds of miles away from home, and having your mother-in-law say something like that. "What's she doing here?"